Hello again. It's a very strange thing, and it tells us something about the way in which we have been brainwashed and indoctrinated. That whenever we hear of violence or arson at an hotel containing asylum seekers, we automatically assume that white British people are the ones being arrested for such offences. Subliminal conditioning means that we associate the very phrase arson and asylum seeker hotel with attacks by British protesters. When people living in the Essex village of Epping became angry about a local hotel being used to house asylum seekers, it was easy for politicians, the police and the media to portray them as making a fuss about nothing. A bunch of irrational racists and xenophobes. Perhaps if we look at what actually has happened at that hotel, we might better understand the concerns of neighbours and other local residents. For example, how did those people end up at the Bell Hotel in the first place? Until this spring, they had been living at the Phoenix Hotel in another Essex village called North Wales. In March, that hotel burned down, and they all moved to Epping, put in the Bell Hotel. A few days later, that hotel too caught fire. A lethal racist hate crime, or a succession of racist hate crimes perhaps involving arson? Well, hardly. One of the asylum seekers, a man called Rawan Abdul-Ria, is currently in prison awaiting trial for arson, the idea being that he actually set fire to both hotels. People in Epping were less than enchanted to find themselves lumbered with all those asylum seekers, especially since within a few days of arriving there had been a serious fire at the hotel. A few months later, parents in the town became even more worried because schoolgirls were being pestered in the street by men staying at the hotel. In July, a 14-year-old girl in school uniform was sexually assaulted by an asylum seeker in the high street in Epping in broad daylight. This was the work of Ethiopian Hadush Gebrselassie Kabatu. This led to protests outside the hotel. In August, at the time of the protests, the police announced that somebody had been arrested for assaulting various staff at the hotel, and the impression that many people gained was that a protester had attacked people who were working there. In fact, Syrian asylum seeker Mohammed Shawak seriously assaulted 4 men working at the Bell Hotel on August the 12th. He's now been sent to prison. You might begin to see why people are uneasy about this place. The feeling is that these cases are the tip of the iceberg and that other offences are being covered up or overlooked. Unease about the behaviour of the men at that hotel is founded upon their behaviour. It has not been dreamt up. When we hear of fires at hotels full of asylum seekers or assaults upon people working at such places, maybe we need to stop and not be quite so ready to assume that such things are the work of white racists. Some of those places are full of young men with dubious backgrounds who appear to have very odd ideas about women and girls, and are also only too ready to resort to violence. This is not xenophobia, but plain and unvarnished fact. In the description to this video, I give links to a few news items about subjects I've been speaking of.